welcome to Red Ice Creations Radio. My name is Henrik Palmgren. We are coming to you from the west coast of Sweden. Wherever you are, good to have you with us. You can find us online at redicecreations.com, where you can find our radio archives, short films, information about our upcoming live program, and don't forget to follow along in our busy news section. Today we have Steve Willner back with us on the program. We first had him with us in November last year. Steve is behind the website labyrinthofthepsychonaut.com, and his blog is labyrinthofthepsychonaut.blogspot.com. Steve have done some awesome videos since we last spoke, so it's good to have him back with us to talk about some of his recent work and possibly some of the new upcoming material. Hi Steve, welcome back to the program. Good to have you with us again.
Yeah, it's great to be talking to you again, Henrik.
Excellent. Hey, you know what? I want to ask you right at the beginning here about the, let's see here, I think it was the Institute of Noetic Science that recently put on a YouTube contest, I think, a 1-minute video contest text, and you had an entry in there. Has that been settled yet? What's going on there?
Yeah, my entry was called The Holographic Universe, and the contest was over. I didn't even place. I think that maybe some of the material that I had in there was a little bit over the judges' heads. I should have made it a little bit more simplified. But basically the video was about sort of how we live through God and God vicariously lives through us, so we're one and the same, and it was sort of talking about the matrix nature of existence. But there'll be other contests, and I'll enter again. I think I'll make a more simplified version next time.
Do you know who won the contest?
I don't remember the name of the video that won. I just remember it was a very good, straightforward, video on transformation, sort of the caterpillar to a butterfly, and they did a good job. They did. I think maybe also because I used clips from movies and a Tool video. It might have been a copyright infringement sort of thing, so they couldn't award me the prize, even if the content was very good.
Okay.
Well, a lot of my stuff is under the fair use policy, where if you use a clip that's usually under 25 seconds, it's usually okay to go. But sometimes copyright issues are hairy.
Has that been an issue yet? Has someone actually mentioned that to you?
It's only happened one time, and it had nothing to do with the movies that I used. It had to do with content from a personal artist that was involved in a lawsuit over his artwork. So I had to just revise it. It was for the Hyperborea video that I made.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, that's always, I guess, a tricky little bit. In most cases, I guess that people wouldn't mind because, as you say, again, this is not about ripping an entire movie here. This is just about making a point by using a certain specific scene that is, X amount of seconds long, right?
Exactly. I've talked to copyright lawyers, and they say what I do is under the fair use policy. If it's out there in the public eye, and I only use a short clip, usually under 30 seconds, it's usually, it's legal as far as the copyright, as far as the YouTube laws are concerned, anyway.
Right, exactly. So, tell us a little bit how things are going at the labyrinth of the psychonaut.com. What's up and what's recent?
Well, I've been getting an overwhelming positive response from everybody. I seriously can't believe how fast it's taken off and been considered, a serious art form. I've had people write to me that they want to start teaching college classes about it. A friend of mine, Ezra Sandrabel, actually wrote me a letter on synchromysticism that he wrote as a college paper that I'll get into a little later and read for you.
Right.
Things are going very well at the YouTube side. I've got over 500,000 hits there. And there's more and more themes that seem to be arising that at a quickening pace that seem to be indicators that synchromysticism is going to be here for a long time. It just keeps getting more interesting. The labyrinth, as it were, is getting much deeper and more involved.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think the response in like demographics is? Is it mostly like younger people? Do you have a sense of that?
I'm getting things from all ages, all age groups, and it's crossing gender boundaries. I mean, I get just as many emails from men as I do women.
Right.
And honestly, it's gotten to the point where I can't answer all my emails anymore. Not to sound pompous, but I'm gonna have to get somebody to help me sort of respond to them all because it's overwhelming and I can't even get to them all. I like to answer everybody, very, very precisely and from the heart, because that's the kind of person I am. So I'm going to try to get to everybody's email if I can, but just be patient with me. If you send me something, I'll try to get to you as soon as I can.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. I mean, in the end, all the things you would be doing is answering email and not getting any work done, So.
Well, exactly. A lot of people don't realize how much time. Well, I mean, some people do, but to make a 10-minute clip the way that I do with all the layers and all the texture involved, it takes me about 2 weeks to accomplish.
Yeah.
Maybe a 10-minute clip, and then it's also, as I'll talk about later, I have an orthognathic jaw disorder that makes it difficult to speak sometimes.
Right.
So I have to do my voiceovers in pieces, and I have to kind of spread them out over time. So I try to keep up, keep making new videos as frequently as possible, because so much information keeps flowing in. I want to share it with the public,
Right. And I guess also this work is very much based on the inspiration of the moment, meaning that sometimes you get a epiphany and a wave of inspiration comes in, and you get to like really work on that and ride that wave. Am I right?
That's exactly how it happens. And sometimes I'll go 2 or 3 weeks where there's really nothing that's inspiring me. I have no muse, or there hasn't been a film or a music video or a news article that's particularly tweaked my interest. But
right.
as soon as I get that first sort of snowball, or a tidal wave forms, and if I don't finish that video, it just boils inside of me, and I have to get it out somehow on paper, or on express myself through these videos. So that's how it always occurs with our art, I think.
Exactly. And you have a background in music too, so I guess it's a little bit similar to how it works.
Yeah, that's the fun part, Heinrich. I basically do all the video stuff, and I do all the background fractals and all the editing, and then the fun part is really putting the music to it, because that's my true love. And what I've been doing lately is I had this guy DJ Seti do some of the music for my Ouroboros video, and it's sort of like getting other artists known, and vice versa, because he put my website on his page, and it's just it's just a great networking way to meet people, and a way to just get some really good music out there, as well as a very important message at the same time.
Exactly. You mentioned your Ouroboros video, and let's talk about that a little bit. It's very interesting. You connect CERN particle accelerators and DNA and something called the water door. Tell us a little bit about the concept there.
Okay, well, CERN is a facility in Geneva. Basically, is a gigantic particle accelerator. And there's just been an article that was recently released that said Ophiuchus, the 13th zodiac, sort of the lost zodiac sign, is a giant particle accelerator as well, probably 100 to 1,000 times more or more powerful than CERN is. And the center of the Milky Way galaxy is also a very powerful particle accelerator. And what we're moving into, as far as our solar system and Earth and the star and all of our planets, are moving into the X. We're moving into the bullseye, the target of 2 gigantic particle accelerators. And particle accelerators affect DNA because DNA is affected by light. There are many scientific studies that prove this. And basically, we're moving. The whole 2012 situation is we are moving in the crosshairs between 2 gigantic accelerators. And it's going to open up our DNA. It's going to give us access to sort of dormant strands in our DNA that have not been used, from the dawn of time. It's going to be sort of, I guess, true evolution for the first time. I mean, all 8 planets on Earth are evolving. They're heating up. They're expanding. Their magnetism is being altered. It goes on and on. Mars is Earth basically 1 billion years in the future, and Venus is Earth 1 billion years in the past. So I got to thinking, perhaps the solar system is very much like the womb and the water door itself, like you were saying.
Right.
Every so many billions of years, the sun spits out a baby planet, a baby Earth, perhaps. And many cultures are based on a cycle of birth, destruction, and rebirth. It's saturated in every culture you can imagine. The symbol of Ouroboros has existed since the dawn of civilization, yet no one has completely sure where it comes from. We only know that it signifies eternity. The ancient, the Mayan sacred calendar places Earth in its final cycle of life that will end near the winter solstice of 2012, as we spoke about before.
Right.
And many other civilizations and faiths maintain a belief in reincarnation, continuous birth, and return. And there's only three world religions that use the concept of linear time instead of cyclical time, and that's Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And they're the three religions that are completely destroying our world. It's really undeniable at this point.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are causing all the violence and all of the war.
Well, that's a very good point, actually. You know that in regards to CERN, the particle accelerator, the facility between what is it, the Swiss-French border down there, they're building out that thing all the time. A new magnetic, what do they call it? I forgot. The Hadron Collider, Atlas, I think it's called, is going in there, or it's started already. I'm not sure.
Yes, and it's interesting that just a quick synchromysticism thing here. The Hadron Collider, H.R. Haddon in the film Contact was the one that was responsible for opening the wormhole for Jodie Foster to go through, and he was based on the Assyrian king Esarhaddon.
Right.
And so all these names are very similar. So when we talk about time loops, it's basically sort of these reoccurring themes. And I know that William Henry talked about how we're sort of we're reinventing this new Stargate theme that existed thousands of years in the past, because a lot of the symbolism in Atlas is the same symbolism you'll see in hieroglyphs in the Temple of Abydos and the Osirion. It's basically like the CERN facility is a new version of what they were doing in ancient Egypt. It's the same concept of opening a wormhole or opening a Stargate of illumination and a new consciousness.
Well, exactly, and I got mentioned that S.R. Haddon, I think he actually was the architect of the Tower of Babel, and that really should be opening some eyes, you know, what they're doing there.
Well, that's exactly it. The Tower of Babel motif again, the 9/11 towers coming down, the two towers in Lord of the Rings. It's what was the Tower of Babel? It was man trying to achieve a godhood, or trying to build himself up so he could be closer to the gods. And that is exactly what opening up these stargates are. Stargates are metaphors for attempting to bridge the gap between humanity and the next stage in evolution. A higher consciousness, a human being touching the new 2001 black space monolith and peering into the future for the next one. I mean, man has really only touched 2 or 3 of these monoliths, and there's thousands out there to be found. And that's what the CERN facility is. It's sort of the next 2001 monolith that we're trying to touch. We're trying to figure out the Big Bang and exactly how the universe formed. And we're finding life and strange structures and beings coming out of the void that just defy modern physics. And we have things like string theory, completely, reinventing. It's basically the next step beyond Einstein and his theory of relativity.
Well,
just to develop. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just wanted to say, and also the idea that they're actually looking for the God particle, but instead of going up as the Tower of Babel did, at least a symbolic idea of the Tower of Babel was that we're going up and building a tower upwards in order to find God, closer to the stars and things like that. But now we're actually going down into the minutest of atoms and molecules in order to find the God particle. Isn't that interesting?
It's extremely interesting. It's basically to develop a unified theory of physics that's going to combine all the forces that physics and explain basically a subatomic level and the astronomical level as the theory of everything, but they're trying to bind it with spiritualism as well, which is a very new aspect to this whole scientific frontier. I mean, string theory is very strange, since it says that there's an extra dimension beyond those that we see, and there's 6 or more dimensions curled up and therefore invisible to us, in what is known as, I think it's called a brain world.
Mm-hmm.
And string theory is analogous to a musical symphony, since it says the smallest particles are vibrating strings, and perhaps the M in M theory we can associate with the 13th Hebrew letter, Mem, and that corresponds to water, as if the universe was like an ocean of water. And we see the water being associated with transformational themes in almost every medium. It's the birth, it's the womb, it's the psychedelic experience, and it makes me think of the water door, and what we were talking about, and how we're born into this world through the water-filled womb.